Okay, today we're going to be talking about two-step equations. Two-step equations are very similar to one-step equations, but instead of one step, we're now going to be doing two steps. Instead of starting with question number one, I want to come back to this. We're going to do one problem beforehand. So let's go ahead and get started on question number two, which I have over here. Um, as I said, we're going to be doing two steps. And so we've got to get rid of two different numbers to isolate the variable instead of just one. And so the whole goal is the same as one-step equations. We're going to try to get W all by itself, which means we have to get rid of negative 6, and it means we also have to get rid of this negative 1. Now, there are going to be two different ways to get rid of these. The general rule is always do the opposite. Well, if we start with the negative 6 and compare it to W, right now negative 6 is being divided by. Okay, so we've got W divided by negative 6. So the opposite of negative 6 then is multiplication. So I'm going to put a little mark up here on my multiplication dot to remind me I need to multiply by negative 6 to get rid of that. If we look at the negative 1, it's subtracted by negative 1. Okay, so it's W over negative 6 minus negative 1, or minus 1. And so to get rid of that minus, we have to do the opposite, which means we're going to have to add. So we've got two different operations to be able that we have to do in order to isolate this variable. We have multiplication and addition. We can only do one at a time. And so really the question lies, which one do we do first? Should we multiply first or should we add? Well, technically you could do either one, but the one that allows us the least amount of work, and what you'll always hear from me, is always add or subtract first. Then you're going to multiply or divide. This is your first step, and this is your second. So knowing that, then we're going to add 1 to both sides first. Negative 1 plus 1, that makes that go away. Now on this side, instead of just having W left, we still have our W over negative 6. We put our equal sign, and now we have 9 plus 1 is 10. Now we need to do a second step to be able to solve this problem. Our second step here is going to be times, because we already said multiplication, negative 6. So again, add or subtract first, then we're going to multiply or divide. So we multiply both sides by negative 6. These cancel. You're left with W equals 10 times negative 6 is negative 60. And you can double check these if you'd like. Plug the negative 60 in for W. You get negative 60 divided by negative 6, which is positive 10. And then positive 10 minus 1 is 9. So it checks out. Okay, so now let's come back up to this original problem. We have 24 minus x equals negative 17. Well, it seems like really the only thing, at first glance, we're like, well, the only thing we need to get rid of is this 24, and since we're going to actually have to subtract it because it's a positive 24. To get rid of those positive 24s, we got to take those away. So why would this be considered a two-step equation? Well, when we look closer, we this is actually a negative 1 times x. So we really need to get rid of this negative 1 as well, which means if it's negative 1 times x, we have to divide. So we're going to split out our equation. We always add or subtract first, then multiply or divide. So we're going to actually subtract this 24 first from both sides. These cancel. You're left with your negative 1x over here. And negative 17 minus 24. If we subtract that, we'll get negative 21 plus negative 41. And then now we need to get rid of this negative 1. The way we do that is we had game plan to divide both sides by negative 1. They cancel. You're left with x equals 41. Okay, let's try another problem. Example number 3. Let's see what we can get with this. Example number 3, again, we're splitting this equation up into two equal sides. We need to get rid of both this 10 and this minus 60. When we look at the 10, it's currently being multiplied to n, so the opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to get rid of that 10 through division. When we compare the 60 with n, where it's being subtracted by, so the opposite of that is addition. Again, always add or subtract first, so that means we're going to be taking away this one first. We're going to add 60 to both sides. Negative 60 plus 60, that cancels out. We're left with 10n equals 210. That's 150 plus 60 equals 210. Now, if we look closely, n is not isolated. It's not by itself at this point, so we're going to have to get rid of this 10. We look at the beginning, we had decided in order to get rid of this 10, we're going to have to divide both sides by 10. So now we divide second, cancel these out. We're left with n equals 21. Okay, so 210 divided by 10 is 21. So hopefully you're starting to see some of the similarities between one-step and two-step equations. Really, all we're doing is simple one-step equations twice to be able to solve these problems. Okay, let's look at our next example. I'm going to pull this actually up here. All right, this is question number 4, so I'm going to cross out the 4. I'm going to divide it. Notice this time our variable's on the right side. It really makes no difference. We still have to get rid of this 4, and then we have to get rid of this 2. The way we're going to get rid of 4 is by subtracting, because it's a positive 4. We got to get rid of it. This 2 in relation to the b is being divided by, so the opposite of division is multiplication. We know we add or subtract first, so that means we're going to be getting rid of the 4 first. So we subtract 4 from both sides. These cancel out. You're left with b over 2. Negative 13 minus 4 is negative 17. Now we need to get rid of this 2. The way we decided to get rid of the 2 was through multiplication, because it's the opposite of division. So we're going to times both sides by 2. These cancel. You're left with b. Bring the equal sign straight down. 2 times negative 17 is negative 34. So b equals negative 34. Okay, our last problem, make this a little bigger. Example number 5. An example number 5, again, the variable is on the right-hand side, but also notice we need to get rid of the 6. The way we're going to do it, it's currently being added, so the opposite of that is subtraction. But remember, whenever you have a negative variable like that, that really means negative 1 times that. So now we've got to get rid of the negative 1 as well. If it's negative 1 times, the way we do that is through division. First, we always add or subtract first. So I'm going to subtract by 6. That leaves negative 1p over here. 87 minus 6 is 81. Now I need to get rid of the negative 1 by dividing both sides by negative 1. These cancel. You're left with p. And 81 divided by negative 1 is negative 81. So p equals negative 81. Okay, I hope that helps. Be ready for your 4-question quiz tomorrow morning. Good luck.